Live.
Now we're live.
Now we're live.
Happy Friday.
It is Friday,
Woo.
isn't it?
Thank goodness it's Friday.
Yeah, life is a realtor. You don't know. You don't know
Well,
what
that's
day
true.
it is. You have no clue what day it is. Hopefully y'all can see us. Sorry for the snafu last time of trying to show you
The
charts
screen.
that
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what happens when you're live. Sometimes those types of things happen, right?
Yeah. Now you know we don't have an entire production crew behind us. It's just us. We're just spitballing here. Hi.
Hello.
Happy Friday. It's been 2 weeks. How is everybody?
Oh yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Busy 2 weeks. Yeah.
We have a riveting show for you today, let me tell you.
Property taxes. Blah.
I'm gonna let you take this one over. I'm gonna sit over here and relax, and I'll control everything, and we'll let you take this one over.
Well, I am gonna talk about. I did just get a call from somebody about property taxes. Their notice. They've been in the house almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Their notice got sent to their previous home,
Okay.
so they never got it.
Oops.
Therefore, they did not remember to file for their homestead exemption or do a protest of their property value.
Oops.
So what that means.
Yeah.
When you file for your homestead exemption, it limits the taxable increased value by 10% year over year.
Right.
So if you have a $500,000 valued home, the county can only raise the taxable value by 10% or $50,000.
Correct.
So the following year, if you have your homestead exemption, you would be taxed on $550,000 versus
the
actual market value.
So that real quick sidebar. Yes. I love how they say market value because that is still their market value.
Sure.
It's not actually what we can sell the home for on the market.
Often it's not.
Good or bad.
Right.
I mean, it's not like they're that far off, but Correct. In some cases, they're off.
Exactly. Well, yes. And though, so there's several things, you know, this is a vocabulary lesson in some ways. You have...
Do I need to get a whiteboard for you?
We should have thought about that, but there's appraised value for the mortgage.
Right.
There is market value, which is done by an appraiser when a house is you know, on the market for sale and under contract. But there's also tax appraised value, which is different too.
Right.
And you really kind of want the tax appraised value to be lower than the true market value, which right. Sometimes clients, buyers will look at the tax appraised value and be like, it's only this much. And it's like, right. And though that is for taxes and you want that to be lower, whereas when you're getting a mortgage on it, you'd like it to be a little bit higher. Anyway, back to the client or friend who I was not their agent, didn't file their homestead exemption 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So there is, though, some recourse because you can go to the county and they may rebate you some. Retroactively.
Okay.
So they may decrease the value a little bit and also possibly, I don't know that they'll give taxes back. Maybe they'll apply it to something else. But that is something that you have to go to the county and have a conversation around. And I believe it's 2 years. You'd have to look that up for sure, but I believe it's 2 years. So if you missed your homestead exemption for 2 years, you can go back and do something retroactively.
Yes.
Wait, go ahead.
I don't know if I'm right on this. Is something, okay, we obviously are not tax professionals.
We're not tax professionals. No.
You know, we have companies we can refer you to that will help you with this, you know. But to my knowledge, some of it's also a county by county basis, isn't it? Like you need to talk to your
county.
Yeah, like we're about to show you this, the Travis County Central Appraisal District. There's Williamson County, the Austin area. There's Hayes, Bastrop, Williamson, and Travis County.
Burnett
could throw in Burnett County, Caldwell, maybe,
possibly,
maybe. So there you go. There's 5 or 6 counties that
Mhm.
service the Central Texas, what you might call the Austin Metroplex.
Right.
So
Right.
you can't say that it's blanket same everywhere you go. You can't expect the tax rates to be the same. You know, you have to pay attention to your county.
Right.
Don't mind the cat. She's just going to keep crying because she wants attention. You have to pay attention to, right? You have to pay attention to what your county is saying. So you have to visit your county website. We're actually about to send emails out to all of our buyers from last year,
right,
and give them a link. There'll be multiple links in there for go to your county, go to Williamson County, Travis County, Bastrop,
right,
Hayes, and check out their website and their regulations on how to file for it, what they say you can and can't do. None of this is blanket. There is just some general rules of thumb that we're going to pass along to you.
Right.
So be sure to check in with your county. I mean, the example you're giving, I actually ran into that last year.
Mm-hmm.
People wondering, what shifted in the market. Oh, it was interest rates. It wasn't just interest rates.
Right.
There were people that bought homes back in 2020.
Right.
Never filed homestead. Yep. And as the market took off, the property taxes started going up. And all of a sudden they were priced out of their home because they never filed their homestead exemption.
And the tax rate actually went down in some areas.
The tax rate, but the value.
The value, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Okay,
so
great. Your tax rate went from 2.7% to 2.5, but your value went from 400,000 to 600,000.
Exactly.
And now your home payment goes up $300 a month.
Right.
There was a home that we were looking to purchase where my clients wanted the sellers to go file the homestead exemption and see if that would do anything for the value to bring the taxes down, because they didn't want to buy the home with the overappreciated tax value.
Right.
And when we did that, the seller said, oh, well, now we might stay because if we can file that, that's going to bring our payments down. So you never filed your homestead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you were paying, keep in mind, both of us are all about paying those taxes for the needs that are there, for the schools, roads.
Right.
If there's a need, we don't have a problem paying for it.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should
overpay. You shouldn't overpay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big part of it. And so you said there are things that are county by county, which is true, but there's also some factors that are set up through the state. So it's statewide. For example, when you get your homestead exemption, the taxable value is actually decreased.
Yep.
I believe is it 25,000 or 45 now. That's something that they've been talking about.
It was the last legislative session, not this year. 2 years ago, they added some additional decrease in value. So let's say that it's a $400,000 home. Right. Instead of it being $375 taxable value, now I believe it's another $10,000 or more.
I believe so.
Again, sorry.
Again, these are well, and it was also, when was it going to go into effect? Because it wasn't immediate. But that is why it's so important to file your homestead exemption. Right. Then there's the which we're not even close to, but the over 65.
Yeah, I've got a few years.
I don't
know about you.
Shut up. When you're over 65, it freezes some of the increase also. So these are
don't forget our veterans.
The veterans,
disabled veterans.
Right.
That your tax value goes to zero. Right. Your tax burden goes to zero for the disabled vets. Right. I need to check out some of the other ones. There is the ag exemptions now. But keep in mind, you have to have a certain amount of acreage, and
I think it's minimum 5 or something.
Correct.
Like that.
In some cases, you have to have the agricultural exemption that you're going for. You have to have the ag exempt in place for a few years. So there are people that are doing like bee farms. Right. But
it's based on how many acres you have and how many hives you can have. And it's really worthwhile. It does take some time, but with the agricultural exemption, it really does impact your taxes, your property taxes. Yep. So, but the biggest one that everyone really needs to be aware of is the homestead exemption when it is your primary residence. Yep. Because that limits the increase on taxable value, and it decreases the actual taxable value by state law.
Correct.
So
it can only go up 10% year over year.
Right.
And it automatically takes your $400,000 home and makes it like a 365. And then they can only raise it 10% year over year from there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to, so you get your bill or the possible appraised value sometime around April, around IRS tax season.
Correct.
And there are two types of protests.
Okay. What are those?
The first one is pretty much you go in and you compile information and you present your argument for why you think your property is appraised too high.
Okay.
Now, something to consider.
Okay.
The county appraises in big blocks, not individual homes.
Okay.
So one thing is when you go in there, you are presenting yours in relationship to others, but also as a single entity.
Okay.
When you go in and do that initial, it's an informal protest. If you disagree with them and want to go to the formal protest, then it's a little bit more involved, and you are put under oath, and there's a panel.
Not Which I've done that before.
Have you done it? I have not.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
It is a little nerve-wracking. So, there's several avenues, and I can tell you I took a class and it was like a 5-hour class, and I realized really how involved it is. And that's why I often hire somebody to protest my taxes. Even as a realtor, we have access to some information, not all.
Yes.
Or at least not everything that they may be looking at, but it is possible for an individual to do it.
Well, I remember a class that we gave years ago. One of the companies that we usually use had given us some information.
Right.
And I loved how they were saying it's the classification of your home.
Right.
It's not just a single family home. They like give it a number, like a W29F3. I'm making that up, by the way. And what you have to look at is, are they using the similar property comparison?
Right.
And ironically, I had just protested my tax the year before, and I wasn't going by the designation, but I was going by the comps that they sent. And I noticed that all the homes they sent were 3-car garages near me.
Right.
However, they were in sections of the neighborhood that had larger lots, were more expensive. Like they were comparing me to the section of the neighborhood where my home was the smallest plan in that section.
Right. Right.
So the home values were automatically higher.
Right.
And I was able to protest it down substantially because I don't have a 3-car garage. My lot's not big enough.
Right.
That right there will bring the value down some because the land size isn't the same.
Right.
And I met with one of the county guys, and we sat there and looked through a computer, and I was able to point out in the neighborhood and go, look, you're using all of these homes in this section, and I back to that section, but it's
a little bit bigger.
I mean, the starting values from when the homes were built were more than mine.
Right.
So it was quickly be able to prove that your computer snatched all these homes that look similar size and said, oh, we need to increase the value of your home. And I was able to say, your computer.
Right. Again, it does it in big swaths, not individual homes. So,
and I could be wrong on the computer. It may have been somebody who's reading the numbers. I can completely be wrong, but it was pretty obvious that they were pulling from, it's not like kind. If I could have looked at those numbers, or if I would have, I likely would have seen that they weren't the same, number designation or title designation.
Yep. And that's one of my understandings is that it is one of the techniques is to compare yourselves to your neighbors. And if their land value is lower than yours, then that might be a good thing to go in with. But that is one way too, that it's a little bit more difficult is if everybody's land value has gone up. Yeah. It's harder to argue that.
Correct.
Right. So, but it's really intricate. If you are so inclined to protest your own taxes, we have a few techniques, and also we know some companies who do this, and often they charge a minimal fee, or they only charge when they actually save you money. So,
gotcha. Yep. Now you're seeing us.
Great.
Wasn't ignoring you. I was just pulling this up.
Yes.
Just as an example, here's the
Travis County.
County, right? Let me expand this a little bit more. I think everybody can see that pretty well.
See, maybe.
Yeah, hit that notifications down there. We're gonna make sure everybody can see us. Nope. Nope.
That's not it. Are we alive?
Yeah, we are. Here,
Oh.
hand me that. I don't know why I gave that to Teresa. That was my mistake.
That was your mistake. First mistake. There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is. It's a little bit behind. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah. Let's turn volume off.
Yeah, turn the volume up.
So,
it's pretty good size.
So property search. You'd go into the property search.
Well, let's do this first. Okay. Homestead, disaster related, right?
Yep.
Let's look at exemptions. Now, this is the Travis Central Appraisal District, right? Mm-hmm. This is not Williamson County. You know, this might be different for you, but right here, homestead exemption, right? Love this. Apply online.
Yep. That used to be difficult. And there are a few things that you have to have already if it's a new home for you. Mm-hmm. You have to have your driver's license. I believe they want to see a copy of a bill at that location. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
And what was also passed in the legislation 2 years ago mm-hmm. is effective 2022. Mm-hmm. You can file your homestead exemption the same year that you
actually, even if
purchase,
because it used to be
you
had to
wait.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You can do it immediately.
And see, now here it says as of January 1. I don't know why.
They obviously need to update it.
Update that.
What's interesting is here's some of the other exemptions, right?
Yeah.
65 or older, disabled person, 100% disabled veteran or survivor exemption, donated residence, mm-hmm. right? So there's some of the exemptions there. Mm-hmm. And then the apply online. So now, you give them a copy of your settlement statement from when you bought the home, or you go through the apply online and give them the documentation that they're requesting, mm-hmm. which I'm not going to do.
Yeah, so you don't want to do that. No,
not going to do that.
But there is a helpline, of course.
Correct.
That it could be a little bit behind, but it is really simple, and it saves you a lot of money. Now, I do know that when you do buy a new home, oftentimes there'll be companies that will send you a letter saying they'll do it for you for like $35. It's free.
This is my annoyed face.
Now,
it's free.
It's free.
We're showing you, and we're going to send it to you as an email for our clients who are watching. But I'm showing you it is free online. Do not spend the $40, $35. I heard somebody once I think they were trying to charge $70.
Oh, yeah.
No, do it yourself.
Especially if you can do it online. If you need any help, let us know.
Right.
So, yep.
Let's see. Oh, look, there's protests right there.
There's the protest process right there.
Again, this is for Travis County. I don't think the counties can blanketly completely be different, but they may have a different schedule.
Right.
Of when you protest or the availability of being able to protest. So it is important that you go to your specific county to make sure you're filing your protest.
And you can file your protest online too.
That's right.
So
that's right. This is recent. I mean, mm-hmm. when I say recent, I don't mean the last 30 days, the last few years.
Yeah. It used to be
really 5 years ago, you couldn't do it online, at least not for all of them. It seems like most of them now are online.
Yep.
What I was going to do was try to pull up a property value to see, give some people some ideas. We can just do a property search. Let's do that. Who do we want to pick on in Travis County? Not you?
No.
How about your neighbor?
No.
Search by account number, address, or owner name. You know what? Let's try something. We're going to try. What happens when you just type in a street?
Your old address.
Yeah.
Is it in there?
Well, there's a couple addresses. So I just typed in technically a street name. I tried Boniface to see what would happen.
Went to the last name.
Correct. But
so let's click on that first one so you can see, or pull over, because you see market value versus appraised value.
There.
Can you get over?
Yep.
So it's the same in that one, but
all three of them, right? Technically, it's the same.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that is what you can actually sell it for. Keep these numbers and go to 2021 and let's see if they shift downward.
Yeah.
A good bit.
So I'm glad you just brought that up, because the talk that we had last time was home values coming down. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen to property taxes? because the home value is coming down, right?
Well, I think one of the things, at least I notice on my personal, is that it did not go up to market value, true market value last year.
Correct.
So I'm still below market
But
value.
that was 2021.
Right.
Now they're going to be assessing
There could
taxes
be,
based upon what happened in
well,
2022,
we're
right?
going to have to see what they do. But again, my house, the appraised market value or the appraised value from the county, I don't think was, well, I could be wrong at this point.
Yeah.
We're waiting to see where the numbers land this year. So,
well, and part of the reason I bring that up is because when you're checking the comparables, they have to send you what they're
basing
using
it on.
Correct. You know, this is where, again, it's not just what has sold on the MLS. Okay. It's not just that. They're really trying to pull, here's what's going on in your neighborhood. We know some of the homes have been sold. They don't have access to the MLS. They are doing an educated guess.
Right.
Now they may be able to see the deed and the mortgage that was recorded and do the math from there. Right. It's not difficult. So, however, those values are going to fluctuate. The question is, are they fluctuating on the entire year or the first 2 quarters? So if you get the comparable homes, talk to your realtor, give us a call, and okay, here's the comps or the comparable homes they use for my assessment. And we can quickly pull up and see, okay, yeah, those were the homes that sold between, from January to April.
You take those off.
Yeah, we'll get these people. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
If those are your private homes, I know it's public information, but we're not trying to pick on anybody. But point is if the comparables that they're using are just the first 2 quarters of the year, you're missing the second half of the year,
right,
where values fluctuated down for the most part.
Right.
So that could be another thing that is in your favor for protesting your property taxes is, did they really use all of the comparables for the entire year?
Right.
Right. What actually happened to values for the entire year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
file your homestead exemption. The other thing I will say is protest your taxes every year. Often I hear people say, oh, well, I did it for 2 years in a row and nothing really happened.
And you never know.
Over time, though, I remember years ago, I was only in the business a few years, and somebody was buying one of my listings. And I remember them saying, well, the tax value is so low. Like, what's wrong? That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That was a good thing. And those people they protested their taxes every year, and they kept the value lower. Now, that doesn't mean every year they got a reduction, but over time, it just kept that value lower than the neighbors who never protested or only protested when they really thought it was a problem.
Right. Right. Yep. So reach out to us if you have any questions about property taxes, and we can steer you in the right direction.
And get you to some of the companies that we work with that will help you protest your taxes for you if you don't want to do it.
Yep.
It does take some time. I mean, anything worth doing takes time, of course, but it can, again, it can be worth it. And it can save you money, just like refinancing my home saved me money.
Yep.
Of course, doing that now with interest rates may not be the best thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sorry for all of our lenders, but that's the truth, right? But yeah, of course, let us know. We'll get you information. We'll do some research for you, and get you connected with companies that will help you reduce that tax burden. Yeah.
Sounds good.
We're not going to do a 45-minute Facebook
No,
Live
not today. No, we don't need to.
No, we don't need to.
We caught up.
Yes. Yeah. It had been 6 months or more since we've done a Facebook Live. We had a lot to say.
And check out our YouTube videos that we've been doing now.
Yeah.
Talking a little bit about legacy and our team and coming up. So
yeah, we've been Austin's best kept secret for far too long. We don't need to be a secret anymore.
Camera shy. Not you.
Yes. Like, I can talk about this, talking about myself.
I'll talk about you. I'm just kidding.
That won't necessarily be a good thing.
No.
Yes. Right. So the legacy of our family being in real estate for 60 years. The business cards you just brought to me are from the mid 60s.
Yep.
Mid 60s. Think about that. Now, that was back in Dayton, Ohio, but in Austin since the mid to late 80s.
Yep.
In one of our videos, we talked about being through 3 market shifts essentially.
Yeah.
Now licensed through 2, but lived through 3 or 4 market shifts.
Again, that's what brought us to Texas in the first place.
Right.
Was a shift.
Right. So second, third generation realtors and a whole team of agents that are well qualified to take care of you. So call us 512-222-6881. Email us at
info@theottgroup.com.
And the website, that's easy, theottgroup.com. Come on. Yeah. Come on.
Happy Friday.
It is Friday. Yes. Have a good weekend.
Good weekend.
See if it'll stop.